Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more interesting stories like these. Now, let's get into today's story video.
STBXW of 23 years just tried to kill herself last night. The blows simply keep coming. I've been sitting in this chair for many hours. I didn't sure where to put this, so I thought this sub would be fitting. So, if you want some context, check out my post history. I'm not sure how connecting to other subs works here, but my prior 2 posts are visible under my profile. The short story is that I found my 23-year-old wife, 45F, was having an affair with a 27-year-old colleague. We have 2 boys, ages 22 and 17. I devised a scheme to utterly upend her life by duping her into believing I was having an affair myself. I kept the charade going for nearly 4.5 months while gathering proof of her adultery, obtaining divorce papers, and strategizing my departure route, slowly moving my personal belongings from our home to a new apartment, getting a new phone and number, separating my half of our shared income from our joint account, etc. On December 16, 2020, I gathered all of the evidence of her affair that I'd gathered, printed it all out from start to finish, filed it all into 14 binders, packed 11 into gift-wrapped boxes, and mailed it all out to the most important people in her life, as well as her HR department, with an ETA of 12/22 to December 24, 2020. On Christmas Eve, while she slept, I took one of the remaining 3 binders and did the same thing, except this time I taped the divorce notice to the inside cover and left it on my side of the bed, which, by the way, she'd had her lover in a number of times, along with my old phone and my lawyer's business card. And shadow ghosted her. Her life absolutely crumbled during the following 4 days. Her family effectively excommunicated her. Her friends, those who didn't know about the affair, shunned her, and my own mother chastised her, calling her the most caustic and horrible words you could think of. Her and her boyfriend were both put on administrative leave before being dismissed. We had our divorce hearing last week and agreed on a legal separation into an uncontested divorce, with a few conditions in place for transitional income because she is now jobless. I'm supposed to pay the utility bill, which is $653 per month, until either she gets gainful job or until 1 year after the divorce is finalized, which is anticipated in 3 months. She retains ownership of the property, her vehicle, and her half of the joint assets. I retain half of the assets, including my car, motorbike, and boat and vacation property, cabin in the Poconos. We had one more interaction after the hearing in which she attempted to justify her adultery and begged me to give her a second opportunity once the divorce was official. Of course, I said no, said some choice things to her, and walked away from her forever. This leads us to the previous night, because only my closest friends, 2 boys, my elder sister, and my mother know my new contact information, and I've totally banned my STBXW on all social media platforms. She has had no way of contacting me since I left her on Christmas Eve, but some of our shared acquaintances do. I was chilling out in my apartment last night when I received a voice call notice on Messenger from one of her pals, one of the few who hadn't abandoned her after I revealed her affair. When I replied, she didn't waste any time in telling me that she had gone to check on Sue, the STBXW, and found her passed out in the bedroom, foaming out of the nose with 2 bottles of empty pills next to her. She is in critical but stable condition in the intensive care unit. Although the doctors believe she will survive, she is plainly not going to be well thereafter. She begged and pleaded for my presence. Her parents and 2 sisters were also in the hospital. My hunch is that they were told after the hospital tried to tell me, but Sue would still have my old phone number as her emergency contact. I just said no. Sue is no longer my concern, and she plainly chose the easy way out rather to face with the guilt and sorrow of the 23-year marriage she shattered. I then informed her friend that if Sue's family was nearby, they could assist her in putting the parts back together, but as far as Sue and I are concerned, there is no Sue and I anymore. I then hung up the phone. I've had a few hours to think about it, and my son phoned this morning to ask if I knew. Yes, I informed them, but I also told them that if they want to be there for their mother and support her, I would not hold it against them or criticize them for it. After all, she is their mother. But I've washed my hands of her and don't give a about what she does for or to herself anymore. They were both taken aback by this, but they respected my viewpoint. However, now that the news of her suicide attempt has spread, many of those people who abandoned her are resurfacing and telling me that I need to be there for her. That, despite all she did to me, I must help her in her hour of need. I've also been told that her AP attempted to see her this morning but was denied since he isn't family. I'm being dogpiled to go visit her, but I no longer care about this lady. I haven't in a long time. I checked out throughout the process of gaining my retaliation for her treachery, and I still don't care about what she did. In fact, it makes me even more despised of her. She is the one who has been unfaithful. She's the one who thought an almost year-long relationship with a man 5 years her senior was worth wrecking 23 years of her life. And now that she has to cope with the repercussions of her decisions, she picks the most selfish approach. Even now, knowing she'll most likely live, she's garnered quick sympathy from everyone who took her to task, and I'm being painted as the cynical ex-husband refusing to feel for her by most of her family, not her father. He's contacted me in the past several hours and said that he supports my choice to remain away. It's as if I never actually knew this person in the first place. It's taken 23 years for this to finally come about. Yes, I realize that the way I terminated things with her may have left her in a horrible emotional state. I apologize for that. But now a whole new can of worms has been opened because either she suffered a complete mental breakdown and chose to self-delete, or she took a very risky and deliberate action in order to regain the respect of those who had only a few weeks earlier denounced her for betraying me and thus redeemed her reputation. She cheated on me, and now she's the one who's being blamed? If this comes off as a digression, please understand that it is just me attempting to comprehend this situation. I want to make quite clear, I will not be paying Sue a visit. She relinquished her right to expect me to be concerned about her health the moment she let Poss, her lover's nickname, stick his into her. Despite the fact that I maintained a cool, calm, and collected demeanor during the whole encounter, my emotions are still quite raw, but I couldn't give a what happened to this person. It's been a long time since I've done so. I'm quite aware that I'm going to be vilified by a large number of individuals in this room. I couldn't give a fig about it. Consider me in whatever light you choose, but if you were in my shoes, you'd see her actions in a very different light. There are those of you who will go back over my blog history and read about what I did to her. And you'll come to think that it was my fault that she attempted suicide. The fact that I tortured her for months, deceiving her into thinking I was cheating on her while she actively cheated on me, then wrecked her social and professional life as a result, was the spark that sent her on her downward spiral of despair. It's possible that it was. It's possible that I'm a vicious sociopath. However, as the legendary musician Arthur Fleck once observed, you get what you deserve. I gave her half of my life and did all I could to be the best husband she could have hoped for and deserved. According to her own admission, I had no influence over her decision to end our relationship. For her, she explained why she did it. Her self-centeredness has no bounds, and I'm happy to be free of her control over my life. As long as I'm not going to see her and have no intention of engaging with her again, I'm not going to be considered a horrible person. No matter what, I will not waver in my beliefs. She made the conscious choice to turn against me. She made the decision to put her desires first, rather than the duties of our marriage. So now it's up to me to put myself first and foremost above all else. What I don't care about is that she rots in the lowest pit of hell. Allow everyone else to aid her in her self-repair efforts as well. It was the day we signed the divorce papers that my obligation to caring for her well-being was terminated. That's all I wanted to do, was get it off my chest. If you're going to cast judgment on me for feeling the way I do, save it for a more appropriate time. As I previously said, even after 23 years and the birth of 2 children, I never felt like I knew this woman personally. It is impossible for me to feel sympathy for her, and I will never feel it. Allow her to deteriorate. Quick update, Sue's father has told me that she has been transferred from the ICU to the mental health ward. Doctors are continuously keeping an eye on her mental condition. She's alert and intelligent again, but clearly drowsy. Her father informed me that when she inquired whether I was coming to visit her, he answered no, and she shut down. He graciously said that any additional news he would provide only if I question, as he realizes the state of mind I'm in. I've also arranged therapy on the 17th. The first consultation is scheduled on Monday.